This is going to be a video where I hold absolutely no books up because I am in the middle of moving and all my bookshelves are empty. A lot of them are packed away and in the storage container until we can finally move into our new house. So I'm not going to be holding any books today, but hi, hello, welcome to my channel. I'm Anne and today I'm bringing you my magical readathon TBR. This is created by G from Book Roast. This is a readathon that I've tried to take part in multiple times and across many years. I think this is like the 7th or 8th year of the magical readathon. There is a lot that goes into this readathon, so I'll make sure to leave some links down below, and it's still not too late for you to join as well. But I have gone for the career of a dream walker, which is what I've been doing for the past few years, and I don't know if I've successfully completed a full year of my magical readathon dream walker career, but I'm not really tracking it too much. This is just a fun way to get me to read. So with this readathon, you end up picking a career and you get a curriculum that you need to follow for this career, and that subject has a prompt that you need to fulfill by reading a book. So I have 7 course subjects that I need to take part in for this readathon. So we have astronomy, we have alchemy, we have art of illusion, we have spells and incantations, we have psionics and divination, conjuration and lore. And all of these books I'm very excited for. So make sure you go follow G from Book Roast. I'll leave all the links down below, and if you want to take part in this readathon, let me know in the comments below. But let's get into this TBR. So the first subject that I need to take part in is astronomy, and the prompt for astronomy is the top of my TBR. And the book that I'm choosing for this is The Saltwater Curse by Evina St. Graves. This is Evina St. Graves' monster romance that I'm very excited about. The audiobook has just released, so I cannot wait to jump into this one. But let me pull it up on Goodreads to talk about the synopsis, because this is immediately on the top of my TBR. I'm obsessed with Evina St. Graves. So, a woman escaping her past. Kirsty Gallagher has slayed a monster before. When she could no longer live with her husband's abuse, she plunged a knife into his neck. Then she fled his family's criminal empire, changing her name and travelling to the far reaches of the world before finding her safe haven in Bali. She's used to looking over her shoulder, but nothing could prepare her for the monster that lurks beyond the shore. Sharp claws, grasping tentacles, krakens are real, and their king has decided she's to be his bride. A monster trying to end a curse. Ortis is king of the Deadlands, the last kraken of his bloodline, and the final hope to break a terrible curse that plagues his lands. He must find his destined bride, his soulmate, and marry her to save his kingdom. His fated mate shouldn't be human, but something about her calls to him like no other creature ever has. He drags her to his island, kicking and screaming, begging to be returned to the mainland. Ortis must convince her he's not a monster to be feared, but her soulmate who will protect her from anything and anyone who means her harm, including his own people. I cannot wait. I'm so excited. I've got the audiobook downloaded and ready to go for the start of this readathon. So hopefully I can kind of finally beat this reading slump once and for all with this Evina book. The next prompt that I have is alchemy, and this is going to be, the prompt is a reread, which is the perfect opportunity because I am in the middle of doing a Throne of Glass reread. So I'm currently in the middle of the Assassin's Blade. I will die on this hill that Assassin's Blade needs to be read first in this series, but before we get into that argument, I am going to be rereading Throne of Glass for this series, for this prompt. So in this series, this is by Sarah J Maas, and this is her like kind of debut series, and this is about a assassin, Selena Sardothian, who ends up in a prison, and as part of an agreement with the prince, he will take her out of this prison if she competes to be the king's champion, and we kind of follow her on the journey. The book and the series definitely expands from book 1. Book 1 is definitely a setup book, but I still love it, still have a great time with it, and we meet a lot of characters who are very pivotal for the 7-book series. So I'm definitely going to be rereading that. Then we have Art of Illusion, and the prompt is unusual formatting. And what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be reading Strange Houses by Yuketsu, and from what I know about this, this is sort of a horror story where we're following some people who are realizing that the house keeps changing around them. And throughout the book we have, I think I might actually have the book, let me try and find it. Okay, I found it. We have I have 3 bags of books here. So this is A Sinister Hidden Room, a dead space between 2 walls, a sealed cellar, a child's face glimpsed at a window. Every house hides secrets, but some secrets are far darker than others. More than 1 million readers have discovered the terrible truth behind these strange houses. Now it's your turn. So we've got this, and from what I can tell, we've got articles, we've got interviews, we have like diagrams, like floor plans. So this is definitely unusual formatting, so I think that will fit that prompt, and I'm very excited because I've heard nothing but amazing things about this one. The next prompt or subject that I have is spells and incantations, and the prompt for that one is currently on a bestseller list, and I've chosen Half City by Kate Golden. I did receive this as an ARC and I started it back in February, I think, and then I just never continued it, so I will be restarting it and kind of continuing with this story. So this is a urban fantasy. So this is Welcome to Harker Academy for Deviant Defense. Keep your dagger sharp and your wits even sharper. Viv Abbott is an average 21-year-old girl. She lives in an expensive city where the rent is too high, works long hours at a thankless job, and is dating a guy she doesn't even like in the hopes of winning her prickly mother's approval. She just also happens to be a demon hunter. Ever since her father's murder, she's been forced to hunt deviants alone, meaning everyone, including her family, sees her as an outsider, until one day she crosses paths with a dangerously alluring demon, Reed Graveheart. The reformed deviant tells her of a school for people just like her, Harker Academy for Deviant Defense. If she enrolls, she'll learn to hone her craft, work with other hunters, and never be alone again. But Viv has a deadly secret, one that not even her new friends at Harker can know about. Not when the school might hold answers to untangling the mystery surrounding Viv's father's death. When strange occurrences begin to plague the students, Viv will have to figure out who she can trust and fast, all while trying to ace her classes, not fall for a demon, and make it through her first year at Harker in one piece. How hard could that be? So I did start this, as I said, and I really loved the beginning of it, and I'm very excited to continue with this one, but I will be restarting it just so I can kind of delve a little bit more deeper into the story and kind of understand fully what's happening, because while I started it, I was very distracted and kind of hitting a reading slump, so it wasn't a vibe. The next prompt is psionics and divination, and the prompt is the word time in the title. And I'm going to be reading That Time I Got Drunk and Saved a Human, which is book 3 in the Mead Mishaps series. And I don't really know much about this. Every one that I've read so far, so book 1 and book 2, we have our female main character who ends up getting drunk and ends up in a scenario that she didn't really intend to be in and starts to fall in love with this person. So that's all I really know, and I'm very excited to read this one. This is by Kimberly Lemming, and I've had a great time with all of her books, so I'm very excited to continue with the series and read it. Whew. We have 2 more prompts. My next subject is conjuration, and the prompt is first enticing book that you see on socials. So I just kind of scrolled on socials and found one that I was very interested in, and that is Thieves and Monsters. And I don't remember what this is about. I just downloaded it immediately on KU. So Thieves and Monsters by Cleo Evans. This is the Three Fates Mafia. So when it comes to stealing from mafia men, there are 3 rules. Don't get caught, don't be seen, and most of all, don't fall in love with them. After being hired to steal a painting, I find myself ensnared. Damon, Minos, and Aeacus are 3 monsters who only want one thing: me. 7 days of sin in exchange for freedom from the Three Fates Mafia. If only it were that easy. The strings of fate have bound the 4 of us together, and not even gods or monsters can keep us apart. And then it has a list of tropes. So we have art thief, female main character, 3 possessive mafia men, enemies to lovers, male main characters shift into monsters, obsessed morally grey MMCs, monster romance, notting, good girl, gods, demigods, and monsters. And this is a standalone why choose monster mafia romance. I love mafia books, I love monster books, so let's combine them together and read this book. And I'm very, very excited for this one. I was scrolling and it just randomly popped up on my Instagram, and I'm very, very excited for this one. It sounds right up my alley. And the last prompt is lore. And the prompt for that is dystopian or utopia. And I sat here trying to figure out what dystopian books I wanted to read. I have so many on my lists, but the one that I've been meaning to read and wanting to read for a long time, and kind of have heard so many amazing things from so many different parts of the community, whether it's Bookstagram, Booktube, TikTok, whatever. And I'm very excited about this. And this is Dungeon Crawler Carol by Matt Dinniman. I have the audiobook and I'm very excited. So the apocalypse will be televised. A man, his ex-girlfriend's cat, a sadistic game show unlike anything in the universe, a dungeon crawl where survival depends on killing your prey in the most entertaining way possible. In a flash, every human erected construction on Earth, from Buckingham Palace to the tiniest of sheds, collapse in a heap, sinking into the ground. The buildings and all the people inside have all been atomized and transformed into the dungeon, an 18-level labyrinth filled with traps, monsters, and loot. A dungeon so enormous it circles the entire globe. Only a few dare venture inside, but once you're in, you can't get out. And what's worse, each level has a time limit. You have but days to find a staircase to the next level down, or it's game over. In this game, it's not about your strength or your dexterity. It's about your followers, your views, your clout. It's about building an audience and killing those goblins with style. You can't just survive here. You gotta survive big. You gotta fight with vigor, with excitement. You gotta make them stand up and cheer. And if you do that, if you do have that it factor, the only way to truly survive in this game, with the help of loot boxes dropped upon you by the generous benefactors watching from across the galaxy. They call it Dungeon Crawler World, but for Carol, it's anything but a game. It sounds so good. I've heard so many amazing things about this and I just need to pick it up. So that is my magical readathon TBR for our spring semester. Is that right? Spring semester? I don't know. I'm in New Zealand, so everything's backwards here. We're going into autumn. Yeah, that makes sense. Anyway, make sure to check G out and the links down below in my description. And let me know if you're taking part in any of these or what books you would choose for these prompts. I'd be so excited to know. If you like this video, make sure to give it a like, comment down below anything you want if you're taking part in the magical readathon, or what books you would use for these prompts, and subscribe if you want to see more content from me. Bye!